15-year-old Sasha Rodriguez drank water laced with ecstasy. She later overdosed and died. It may seem shocking, but in the last 3 years, ecstasy use among teenagers has jumped 67%. 1 in 10 teens now uses it. Marijuana use is up 22%, with 4 in 10 teens smoking pot. Does that surprise any of you?
No.
No.
Not at all.
कुतो विधा अविधस्य कुतो धनम अधनस्य कुतो मित्रम अमित्रस्य कुतः सुखम। आलसी के लिए ज्ञान कहाँ है, अज्ञानी और मूर्ख के लिए धन कहाँ है, गरीब के लिए दोस्त कहाँ होते हैं और दोस्तों के बिना कोई कैसे खुश रह सकता है।
पहचान हो, पर ये राजा कब तुम्हें क्या कर देगा कोई पता नहीं है। राजा का मतलब जितने भी मंत्री षड्यंत्री जितने भी है ना, दोनों पक्ष जाते हैं, दोनों को हाँ कहते हैं, ना तो किसी को नहीं कहते। ये तुम भी गए तो हाँ, और तुम्हारा विरोधी गया तो भी हाँ। वोट तो दोनों से ही लेना है इसको। तो इनका महाराज उल्टी रीत है, उल्टे चलते हैं। राजा जोगी, जोगी के मुंड का भी कोई पता नहीं है, महात्मा के मुंड का। अग्नि, आग का कोई पता नहीं है, जो तुम्हारा विकास कर रही है वो कब विनाश कर देगी कोई पता नहीं है। और जल, ये जल जो तुम इतना शीतल समझ रहे हो, ये कब उग्र होकर के तुम्हारा विनाश कर देगा कोई पता नहीं महाराज। राजा जोगी अग्नि जल, इनकी उल्टी रीत, डरते रहियो परशुराम ये कभी न पाले प्रीत।
अरे फेल हो जाए तो मुझे अपना बाप मत कहियो। छोरा बोला ठीक। अगले दिन बेटा आया, बाप ने पूछा क्या रिजल्ट रहा। बोले छोड़ना राम प्रसाद क्या करेगा। अच्छा, मैं दिल्ली के श्री राम कॉलेज ऑफ कॉमर्स में पढ़ा।
अच्छा।
बेस्ट कॉलेज कॉमर्स का।
जी।
सेकेंड ईयर में मैं फेल हो गया।
अरे
मैंने अपने बाप को 6 महीने तक पता नहीं लगने दिया कि मैं फेल हो गया। ताली बजाने की बात नहीं है शेखर भाई, इसे कहते हैं मैनेजमेंट। अच्छा, मैंने अपने बेटे से कह दिया था, देख तू 50% से ज्यादा मत लियो, क्योंकि मेरे 51 आए थे। 95 में लिया था, अमेरिका भाग लेता। 45% लिया, साला मुझे दिल्ली छोड़ करके गाजियाबाद नहीं जा सकता जिंदगी भर मेरे।
From his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others.
Bring their talent to fruition. Is it their fault? No, it is not.
Full many a gem of purest ray serene, the dark unfathomed caves of ocean bear. Full many a flower is born to blush unseen and wask its sweetness on the desert air. Those that I fight, I do not hate. Those that I guard, I do not love. Vidya dadati vinay.
ददाति विनयं विनयाद याति पात्रतां पात्रत्वात् धनमाप्नोति धनात् धर्मं ततः सुखम। अर्थात विद्या विनय देती है, विनय से पात्रता आती है, पात्रता से धन, धन से धर्म और धर्म से सुख प्राप्त होता है।
Covers a campsite with hundreds of barracks, Auschwitz-Birkenau. On January 28, 1945, a hastily summoned camera team shoots the first footage of the death camp. They come across 6,000 west of Krakow. A Soviet vanguard discovers a campsite with hundreds of barracks, Auschwitz-Birkenau. On January 28, 1945, a hastily summoned camera team shoots the first footage of the death camp. they come across 6,000 surviving inmates. Too weak for transport, they had been left to die. West of Krakow, a Soviet vanguard discovers a
für richtig hältst, ob du glaubst, dass ich fleißig gewesen bin, dass ich gearbeitet habe, dass ich mich in diesen Jahren für dich eingesetzt habe.
Nazi train. You see a little boy who looks well beyond his years. A woman exhausted, sleeping on the ground. Tattered clothes, gaunt faces, people frantically lining up next to the train, hoping for their chance at some food from U.S. forces who had just secured their freedom. Some are waving to the cameraman. Written on one of the train cars, 3 cheers for the U.S. It was April 1945, and while the Farsleben train rescue had been captured in pictures like this, a mother and daughter newly freed from their captors, this is the first time video of the incident has been found, uncovered after 78 years.
The U.S. Army Signal Corps happened to have a photographer in the area.
In Europe, built by Nazi Germany. When you look at this complex, you realize how the Nazis carried out their crimes with industrial precision, turning Auschwitz into a murder factory. It comprised 3 main camps and extended over several villages. The first and oldest was the so-called main camp. In addition to administrative buildings and prisons, systematic shootings and the first mass gassing were carried out here. The extermination camp was built 3 kilometers away. Trains arrived here day and night. The deportees were divided up directly at the railroad ramp. Who was fit for work and who was not. The elderly, sick and children were mostly sent directly to the gas chambers. In the last of the 3 main camps, prisoners were forced to work under inhumane conditions, labor from which German industry profited massively. In no other place were ever so many people systematically murdered as here in Auschwitz. This was the largest concentration camp complex in Europe, built by Nazi Germany. When you look at this complex, you realize how the Nazis carried out their crime.
These high school students